How discipline changed his life. A directionless life in England. In a small town in England, surrounded by grey skies, quiet streets, and old brick houses, lived a young man named Daniel. England was known for its order, punctuality, and discipline, but Daniel's life was the opposite. While the country around him ran on schedules and structure, his own life lacked control and direction. He had dreams of success and respect, yet every year those dreams felt more distant. Daniel lived in a modest rented room near the outskirts of town. His mornings had no routine. Some days he woke up late, other days he woke early but wasted hours doing nothing meaningful. He often told himself that he would change his life soon, that tomorrow would be different. But tomorrow always arrived the same as yesterday. Discipline was something he admired in others, workers catching early trains, students carrying books with focus, but he never applied it to himself. After finishing school, Daniel joined a local college, hoping education would fix his problems. But without discipline, nothing changed. He missed lectures, delayed assignments, and studied only when exams were dangerously close. Stress became normal. While other students moved forward with clear plans, Daniel stayed confused and behind. He blamed the education system, the pressure of life, and even bad luck, but deep inside he knew the real problem was his habits. England's cost of living was high, and discipline in money mattered. Daniel worked part-time jobs but spent his earnings carelessly. He bought things he didn't need and saved nothing. At the end of every month, anxiety filled his mind. Bills, rent, and responsibilities piled up. He borrowed money, promised to repay, and felt ashamed. His lack of financial discipline slowly destroyed his confidence. His health also began to decline. Late nights, fast food, and no exercise became part of his daily life. His body felt tired, his mind felt slow, and his motivation faded. England's cold mornings made it harder to wake up, and without discipline, he chose comfort over effort. He ignored his health, not realizing he was slowly paying a heavy price. Relationships suffered as well. Daniel often arrived late, broke promises, and avoided responsibility. Friends stopped depending on him. His family worried, but their advice felt like criticism, so he pushed it away. In a society where discipline and reliability were respected, Daniel's inconsistency damaged his reputation. One rainy evening, after another unproductive day, Daniel stood at a bus stop watching people return from work. Everyone seemed tired but purposeful. In that moment, he felt empty. Years had passed, but his life had not moved forward. Dreams without discipline had turned into regret. He finally understood that intelligence and opportunities mean nothing without self-control. For the first time, Daniel stopped blaming England, society, or circumstances. He looked honestly at his own actions. He saw how lack of discipline had quietly shaped his failures. Standing there under the gray sky, a powerful thought entered his mind. If lack of discipline can ruin a life, then discipline might be able to rebuild it. That thought became the silent beginning of change. The painful beginning of discipline. The thought that discipline could change his life did not bring instant motivation to Daniel. In fact, it made him uncomfortable. Change meant effort, and effort meant leaving the comfort he had lived in for years. The next morning in his small English town, Daniel woke up earlier than usual. The sky was still gray, and the air was cold. His body resisted, and his mind begged him to go back to sleep. This was his first encounter with discipline, not as inspiration, but as resistance. Daniel decided to start small. He made his bed, something he had ignored for years. It felt meaningless, yet strangely satisfying. That simple act reminded him that discipline begins with order. He prepared a simple breakfast instead of skipping it or buying fast food. These small actions felt heavy, as if his old habits were fighting back. Discipline was not motivating, it was uncomfortable. At college, Daniel forced himself to attend every lecture, even when he felt bored or tired. Sitting in the classroom without escaping into his phone felt difficult. His mind wandered, but he stayed. For the first time, he realized that discipline was not about feeling good, it was about doing what was necessary even when he didn't feel like it. Slowly, consistency replaced chaos. Money became his next challenge. Daniel wrote down his expenses and income for the first time. The truth was painful. He saw how careless spending had trapped him in stress. He stopped buying unnecessary things and began saving small amounts. Saying no to comfort was difficult, but each responsible decision made him feel stronger. Discipline in money gave him a sense of control he had never experienced before. His health demanded attention as well. England's cold mornings made exercise difficult, but Daniel forced himself to walk daily. At first, his body ached, and his breath felt heavy. But he continued. Discipline taught him patience. Progress was slow, but his energy slowly returned. Sleep improved, and his mind became clearer. He learned that discipline in health was not punishment, it was self-respect. There were days when Daniel failed. He overslept, wasted time, and felt disappointed. Old habits returned easily, and self-doubt whispered that change was impossible. But discipline taught him another lesson: failure was not an excuse to quit. Instead of giving up, he corrected himself and continued. Consistency mattered more than perfection. People around him began to notice small changes. He arrived on time, kept promises, and showed responsibility. Trust slowly returned. His family saw improvement, not through his words, but through his actions. Discipline changed not only his routine, but his character. Daniel realized something important. Discipline was not controlling him, it was freeing him. With structure came clarity. With consistency came confidence. Life felt less chaotic and more meaningful. Each disciplined day became a brick in the foundation of a new life. The transformation was still in its early stages, but Daniel now understood the truth. Discipline does not change life overnight. It changes life daily. Discipline builds a new future as weeks turned into months. Discipline slowly stopped feeling like a struggle and began to feel like a habit in Daniel's life. Living in England, where time and responsibility were deeply valued, he started to feel aligned with the world around him instead of fighting against it. His days no longer felt random. Each morning followed a simple structure, and that structure brought calm to his mind. At college, Daniel's disciplined routine began to show clear results. He no longer studied only before exams. Instead, he reviewed lessons daily, even when he didn't feel motivated. This consistency reduced stress and improved understanding. His grades slowly improved, surprising both his teachers and himself. For the first time, he felt proud, not because of talent, but because of effort repeated every day. Discipline also changed his mindset toward work. Daniel took his part-time job seriously, arriving early and completing tasks with focus. His supervisor noticed his reliability and offered him extra hours. Later, he was trusted with more responsibility. Daniel understood that discipline creates opportunity. When people see consistency, they give chances. Financial stability followed. Through disciplined saving and controlled spending, Daniel slowly escaped constant money anxiety. He no longer feared bills or rent. Even small savings gave him confidence. Discipline taught him delayed gratification, choosing long-term peace over short-term pleasure. This lesson changed how he made decisions. Mentally, Daniel became stronger. Discipline trained his mind to stay focused even when things felt difficult. He learned to control distractions, manage emotions, and remain patient. Life's problems did not disappear, but his ability to handle them improved. Discipline gave him emotional stability. Socially, relationships improved. Friends trusted his words again because his actions matched them. His family saw growth not through promises, but through consistency. Discipline rebuilt his reputation quietly and powerfully. Daniel realized that discipline was not about becoming perfect. It was about becoming dependable. It shaped his identity. He was no longer someone who started things and quit, he was someone who continued. Looking back, Daniel saw how discipline had transformed every area of his life: time, money, health, education, and character. England had not changed. Circumstances had not magically improved. The only thing that changed was his daily behavior, and that changed everything. Standing one evening on the same street where he once felt lost, Daniel smiled. He knew the journey was ongoing, but now he was in control. Discipline had not just changed his life, it had given him direction, purpose, and self-respect. Conclusion and life lessons. Years passed, and Daniel's life transformed completely. The young man who once wandered aimlessly through the quiet streets of his English town had become someone others admired, not because he was lucky or naturally talented, but because he had mastered the art of discipline. He built a career, maintained healthy relationships, and managed his finances with wisdom. He still faced challenges, as life always brings obstacles, but now he faced them with preparation, patience, and a strong sense of responsibility. Discipline had turned uncertainty into opportunity. Daniel reflected often on his journey. He realized that discipline is more than routines and schedules, it is the bridge between dreams and reality.